I don't know if you'd be interested in taking part, but I know there are a couple of elected politicians here. Perhaps you would like to make your contribution on whether you think change can be led from the front, or does it have to come from a popular consensus?
Well, if I could just say that I think that NGOs like this one shouldn't underestimate the influence that they can have on what everybody does at home. I don't think that it's any of the elected politicians on either side of the political divide here, or even anywhere else in the world, that have made people realize that they need to switch their televisions off and not leave the standby button on, that you don't leave lights on when you're not in a particular room. I think that's coming from a grassroots movement. So I think John's right, that it's really about changing the views of individuals and not just getting politicians to say the right things or not say the right things. But you know, when we look at what it is that politicians talk about in manifestos, when it comes to general elections, they talk about the things that they think are important because those are the things that they think are going to make people support them. But what's most important? I mean, it must be food, water, oxygen. Those things which we've never seen reflected in the manifesto before because they've never been put on the political agenda. If the NGOs have put that on the political agenda, and I'm not saying that we're going to run out of food and we're going to be rationing food after the next election, but if we're putting those fundamentals in some way on the political agenda, to such an extent, I mean, this is the commitment that I gave the ESG at the last election. It's probably the most detailed document that I've politically prepared. It's probably longer in words than the whole of our manifesto, and it's what we would have been prepared to do if we had been elected. Then you've already achieved so much. Not that you've achieved everything that you need to achieve, but you've achieved so much. But I think that the message from my side of the political divide is that we don't accept the fact that we're going to be timid if we're elected, or that we're going to be timid from where we are today. I think we accept that we have to be radical. My view is we should not rest if we don't try and ensure, I mean, we've been accused in the Chronicle today of wanting to dismantle things. We should not rest until we've taken every step possible to dismantle that refinery. I'm not happy to simply see it reduce. And you might say, well, that's unrealistic. Well, 10 years ago, it was unrealistic to raise a voice against the refinery. Now it's accepted that we should be able to do that. And I ask myself, is it a source of pride for us to say that Gibraltar is the biggest bunkering port in Europe? Or is it a source of shame? Those are the issues that I think, as politicians, we need to be readdressing. And if we do that, and if we do that effectively, then I think there needs to be a confluence of what is coming from the grassroots, from the individuals, which is what this group is about, and what is coming from, I hesitate to call it the top, but from the politicians. So that somewhere in the middle, the rest of society gets caught up and has nowhere else to go.